Praise the Lord, niggas.
He's always worthy of all of my praise. All of it. All of it. Praise the Lord, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Welcome me, welcome you. Welcome back to episode 33. It's our Jesus episode. Episode 33 of Getting Grown with Jade and Keia, where we discuss all things adulting, the tests, the trials, the twists, the turns, the triumphs, and the tragedies of adulting, and how we don't really know what we're doing, but we're doing the very best that we can.
Amen.
Pep it up, sis. Let's get our energy up here. You know, I'm tired, you tired, but we got to do this, honey. We've got to do this. We've got to do this. How are you doing? What's going on in your world?
I'm good. I am okay and here and breathing and well. I just raced back from a catering. But you know, I am happy to be working. How are you?
Booked, honey. You're booked
and busy.
Like bibliotecas. You are booked. Libraries of Congress.
Yeah.
Libraries of all things. You're just out here.
Beat me to it this week.
Indeed, right?
Comida.
You know, we always have to have our... Oh my God. You always hit us with the Dora the Explorer subtitles. We just don't know what to do. Because
I gotta speak to my brown people. They be waiting for me.
Listen, you out here. Yeah, man, you're booked. It's a blessing.
So are you.
It's a blessing. Listen, I'm just trying to do it's just my reasonable service. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here trying to make good on everybody that's invested in me. And I just got a lot to do, man. I've been reading and kind of like trying to get my mindset, you know, in my mind right I'm believing for a new season in my life. Even though, like, you know, I don't really have control over things. God is in control, but I'm believing for a new season as I'm, you know, staring down the barrel of my 35th birthday. I'm very, very intentionally, I'm intentionally pursuing you know, the second half of my 30s and believing that it's going to be a turn and things are just going to kind of blow up to weight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just need them to be, I'm just trying to work as hard as I can and grind because I feel like I'm in a building phase of my life.
Amen. Amen. Ooh, talk about
I'm just out here trying to build, you know, brick by brick. You got to do the work. You have to do the work.
That's literally what
thinking
I was talking to that nigga about.
Yeah, man. It's just you have to do the work. You got to do the work. I have some lots of ideas, lots of things kind of bubbling up, and I don't really know where they're coming from, like inside of me. But I'm just really serious about taking the steps. We talked about that before. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no elevators, B. If you out here, you want to live a certain kind of life, you want to have nice things, you have to be willing to do the work, whatever that work is. So shout out to everybody who's out here working. That's what. Sidebar.
Tangent.
Why did I say segue? Tangent, right. Sidebar, tangent. It's kind of like I've been getting a lot of tweets about what Team Typing Fast is. It's not just academic. It's not specific to academia. It's not specific to just people who are in school, although that's kind of where it originated for me. But, and I'm working on some things as far as Team Typing Fast is concerned that I'm hoping to be able to share with you guys really soon. But Team Typing Fast, someone asked me on Twitter this week what Team Typing Fast is and how they can be down. I said there are 2 requirements to be a part of Team Typing Fast. Number 1 is you have to have work to do. Number 2 is you have to do the hell out of that work. Whatever that is, you have to do it. No matter what that work is. If it's writing a book, if it's doing a blog, if it's studying for exams, some sort of licensure, some sort of certification, no matter what that work is, all you have to have is work, and you have to be willing to do the hell out of it, whether it be like, you know, starting any kind of anything. I think it's all about process. We all be out here looking at the Polaroid snapshots that people post on Instagram and social media, and it's like, oh, I want to do that, but we don't really get to see the part where people are out here writing actual words and proofreading them and publishing them and pitching them and all the things that go into the end products that people are so apt to promote and publicize. So yeah, that's what Team Typing Fast is all about. I'm very much in that phase myself, so that's kind of just where my mind is.
No,
so
I
didn't mean to do I didn't mean to do all of that right there, but it just kind of came out.
No,
so.
I'm glad you explained it. I mean, again, like Keia said, Team Typing Fast, and Team Typing Fast was born before getting grown. So that was Keia's thing before getting grown. But it applies to everybody. You can be Team Whisking Fast, you can be Team
Whatever. Team Stirring fast, Team Sweeping Fast. Team.
The only people I don't want nobody to do quick is the medical team. I just need y'all to slow down.
Y'all take your time.
The medical team and the legal team.
It's okay. Y'all just pay attention.
I prefer you be Team Type as
okay. Well. I mean, it's just more. It's the principle of what it's all about. So
it's a grind mentality.
It's a grind mentality.
And we all.
I think that's what adulting and getting grown is really all about. Like legit.
And we all get discouraged. We all have. I literally was just talking to my husband about, sometimes being discouraged and just things not going the way that you want. And I think it's funny that you brought up a new season because I've been saying that, like I've been speaking that. I'm like, yo, I feel like some shit is going to change, but I have to put that work in right now. I have to put that grind in right now. And that's what I'm doing. So I may be tired of shit or, have moments where I cry or whatever. But, we all out here grinding. Everybody. Well, the people who are grinding. And the people who are complaining, I hope that you are checking your circumstances and like changing your mentality. And that's what I try to do on a daily basis. Cause again, we all go through it and we all have those moments.
Right on. So yeah, I am grinding. I'm working. I'm literally just got back from San Francisco on Saturday night.
Oh, I love San Francisco.
San Francisco was cool. I've been to the Bay Area before. This one was like kind of a relatively quick trip. I didn't get a chance to do as much in the way of sightseeing, but I did get a chance to get out a little bit. And it's just a cute little town.
It is.
San Francisco is a very cute little town. There's lots to see and lots to do there. It was pretty cloudy and dreary and chilly out there. But these are the breaks. What can you do? I was able to get outside and kind of be amongst the people, and that was really fun. Tomorrow, I will be
in my second home,
boarding a plane to H-Town. Yay! I'm excited. I love Houston. Every time I go to Houston, I get my life. So I am very excited. I will be going and presenting some research at the Association for the Study of Higher Education conference this year. Is going to be in Houston, and I'm excited. This is kind of where like me and my academic homie friends and sisters and scholars, sister scholars and brother scholars get together and reconvene. It's kind of like how we kind of meet back up with one another, check in and see what everyone's doing in their respective jobs around the country. So I'm excited to catch up with my folks. And anxious, a little anxious, because I submitted a few papers to this conference thinking that surely, I might get one in. But they accepted all of them. Now I have to present a gang of papers, and I'm on a panel. So it's like
that's typing fast.
I'm like a big girl now. It's just it's a little leery. It's a little scary. It's a little scary.
I'm so proud of you,
man. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm trying. I'm out here and trying to get these presentations together, and I'm out here just trying my best. Hopefully, I don't embarrass people who are responsible for me. So that's kind of what as soon as we finish recording, I have to pack a bag and get myself together so that I can.
Yo, just make
hopefully
sure you
after.
Frenchies.
Oh yeah, that's gonna happen definitely. Yeah. There's lots of things I have to get in Houston. I have to get some Whataburger. I have to get
the spicy ketchup.
Absolutely, I have to get some boudin. I got to get like
sis. I was just telling Naja like I need to order some boudin.
There's lots of things I got. And I'm excited because Houston is where the big black men live. Woo! I am just anxious. I'm very anxious.
Hello, young bull, and this is not Philly.
Where the meaty boys,
the real young bulls.
Oh my God! Every time I'm in Houston, listen, when we stayed at Mo's house. Shout out to Mo. Shout out to Nikki. Shout out to all my Houston
Curtis. All of y'all.
My cousin Curtis. I will be hanging out with you all at some point this weekend.
With your mean ass. I love you.
Don't come for Curtis.
I love Curtis. I said coming. He mean. He know he is.
That's my cousin.
Mine too.
Listen, Mo had a neighbor. Me and Tay was fighting over Mo's neighbor. we don't know anything about him, but it was like, oh, that's, we was fighting over who was going to get Mo's neighbor. And I had to get off of Mo's block very quickly before I got pregnant.
Mo, because of the niggas. Because Mo lives in the hood, and everybody knows.
Does she?
Yeah, and everybody.
I thought it was a pleasant neighborhood. I enjoyed myself. She has a
pleasant home. She lives on a nice street, but she still lives in the hood.
I didn't feel like I was in the hood. I don't know much about these things.
Plaza. I mean, not King's Plaza. That's Brooklyn.
Are you sure? I don't know. Either way,
around the corner from her house. But
Mo had a neighbor that
niggas.
He was sitting in his driveway in a wife beater.
In a wife beater and some basketball shorts.
Let me stop being filthy.
I know, right? Be like, look at, hey, young bull in them slides and them basketball shorts. I mean, I can't do that now, but
over there like, hi, I'm Keia.
I'm still a woman.
Hi, I'm Keia.
Hey, what's your name? DeAndre.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to talk to any one of them. I'm just hoping that I will there will be 1 to 3 big back, tall black men that I could at least look at and just give God thanks.
They usually serve 1 to 2 purposes. One of them's looking at them, the other is.
Don't you do that?
I love me. We grown. Listen,
well,
around a wife beater, you can't build a future with them. But I mean,
Well, I believe that God's going to send me one who could do both. Huh?
Oh, of course. Always pray for the blessings. But I'm saying, you see a nigga sitting in his driveway in a wife beater, then he probably serves 2 great, wonderful purposes. But,
well, I mean, that's neat. Well, we'll see. Okay. That's enough of that. Let's just get on in. Before we get into the meat of the show, are there any current events, any trash we need to address?
You know what I do want to? I want to send my condolences to the family and friends in San Antonio.
Sutherland.
It was right outside San Antonio, right?
Yeah, right outside it. I don't think that was the name of the town. Let me look it up right quick because I was looking at it.
But I want to send we wanted to send our condolences to the friends and family of those affected, those Absolutely. Who were killed, those who are in critical condition. It's disgusting, and the fact that nothing can be done, nothing is being done, is really disheartening. But I just, take this time to call your Congress, your congressmen, and try to do as much as you can. I know that's
Sutherland Springs,
Texas.
Yeah, just
but yeah, we gotta try to do something. I mean, there are like full blown impeachment commercials out at this point. There's so many different ways. There's websites. There's no phone numbers to call, but we have to try. At this point, is you have to pray about it, and you have to have positive thinking, which I know is really, really difficult. But we have to do something at this point, and we all have to take action. And so, yeah, I just wanted to offer our condolences.
Absolutely. To all those affected, all those connected, and even those of us who are not, but still witnessing all the crazy things that are going on in our society today. Yeah, like
in this crazy ass country. And then Love and Hip Hop came back.
I'm behind. I'm not. Okay, so I'm not up.
Wait.
I'm not. Yeah, you got to give me some time to get caught
That's
up.
Fine.
We have gotten quite a few tweets about people asking us to weigh in on Tyrese. I don't really know what there is to say at this point.
I think I should lead by example, and that is shutting the fuck up.
I think that there is a clear pathology. Like, this is like, I think we have surpassed just random acts of just hood ratio and ratchetry, and we have just he's in the DSM right now, so he needs a diagnosis. He needs a certified professional. There are things,
we're not those,
and I am not that. I am. It makes me really sad, and I just want to pray for his daughter, and because
it's affecting her more than anybody. She's the person who matters the most. Tyrese does not matter in this. because I still feel the way that I feel.
I wish that he would just leave us alone. Honestly.
The fuck up.
And I wish that he would just not like. What makes my stomach hurt about this? Yes, I wish he would not talk. But what makes my stomach hurt about this is I feel like he is at this point using social media as like a manipulative tool.
I mean, it's just because at this point you're putting everything out there. You are crying. You are crying on Instagram. Why are you crying on Instagram and not to a therapist?
But I mean, it's just, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's hard to watch because there's a lot of ignorance, the things that he says, and it makes me sad. And I feel like I wish that people would reach out to him and give him some help, because help is clearly what he needs. Like he needs, I don't even know that he realizes that he is actually making his situation worse and worse in terms of,
I don't think he does,
how he is, portraying himself. If he's trying to convince a court of law that he is in the right, no one's denying his right to be a parent, but you have to show yourself to be a fit and of sound mind and that you can make rational decisions and those kinds of things. And his behavior is, it's nothing. Erratic. It's irrational. I mean, in all ways, in all,
it's erratic. It's all over the place.
It's just crazy. So I don't know what y'all want us to say about Tyrese other than he needs the nearest seat.
And couch.
He needs a couch. He needs a muzzle. He needs a praying grandmother. He needs somebody
to manage his funds, because this nigga apparently has a Starbucks and a Benihana-esque restaurant in the back of his home.
Does he?
Yeah, in his backyard.
Like people work there?
Like I saw a hibachi restaurant.
Oh, he just has like a hibachi grill.
No, he has, it looks like from what I saw, because he apparently invited Aziz Ansari and all of his friends. It looks like a hibachi restaurant. Now, I don't know how big it is. I'm sure it doesn't seat 100 and something people. But yeah, this nigga said he has a Benihana-esque situation set up in his backyard. And then I heard he has a Starbucks. I don't know how true that is.
And then he complaining about $13,000 in child support.
Which is, and this is why I wish I felt worse, but I feel bad for the baby. I don't know the situation with the baby mother, but I feel bad for the baby. That's who I feel bad for in this whole situation.
Yeah.
But shut the fuck up, Tyrese, because you're not helping nothing.
Every day.
Don't fly no more planes over your baby's school. Don't make no more videos. Don't give niggas no more ammunition to make songs that you didn't actually perform on. Like, you need to do nothing but sing. Nothing but sing.
Stop being a creep.
Take Baby Boy on Broadway, but just shut the fuck up.
Don't do that. I don't need that either.
I don't know. I might.
Meek Mill is going back to jail.
Okay, well.
He violated.
It's going to be really loud in there.
You are stupid.
It's going to be just a really loud situation in his cell. What else is going on?
Apparently we can look forward to the Soul Train Awards. They were recorded last night.
Yes, I saw Erykah Badu's outfit.
Yes, indeed. That's the one that I was referring to.
You sound like a stalker.
And
every week.
And apparently the cast of Moesha. Why would you laugh? Why would you laugh like that?
Because Frank's hairline is still back when it was first airing.
Did you expect it to be any better?
I don't know what I thought. I didn't think anything because I never thought I'd see the cast of Moesha reunite.
I didn't either. Was Miles there?
Miles has struggled.
Is Miles
the last time
wasn't he in like Bounce?
He was on Bad Girls Club.
He was on Roll Bounce. What?
Yeah, he was the last time I seen Miles. He was friends with somebody on Bad. Was it Natalie, the big chin girl?
I have never watched any of that.
I have during Hurricane Sandy. There wasn't a lot happening, and I had ample time to watch Bad Girls Club. But I did watch Bad Girls Club at that time, and Miles was definitely on at least an episode. Smoking weed, he had black lips.
Miles. I saw him. I feel like he was on like Roll Bounce or one of them other Bow Wow movies.
I think he was. Yeah, I'm sure he was in that too. But I distinctly remember Bad Girls Club.
Well, amen. I think that's all I got.
But no, I did not see Miles. I was surprised to see Brandy and Countess Vaughn together.
I mean, they speak. I mean, they're cordial now, ain't they?
I didn't know. Was Niecy there?
I doubt it. I don't know.
In her
I have
contacts?
to look back on. You talking about Shar Jackson?
Yeah. Was she in the picture? I don't remember seeing her.
I don't remember seeing her either, but...
And then rest in peace to the rest of the cast, cause
Hakeem,
and Del,
oh my God,
Bernie Mac, who just passed? Somebody just passed. Oh,
I don't know.
Another one of them just passed, but there's like several. And also Santana. He passed away.
Oh, he's talking about
Romeo.
Stanley. Oh, it's so sad. Oh,
I know. I'm not laughing.
Romeo.
Stanley. So, Ohaji.
Oh, that's sad. Okay. Who was the boy from Ohaji? Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I couldn't think of any. Are you gonna address Wendy Williams hitting the floor?
Well, you never told me how you felt about a reunion first.
Well, I mean, I think it's great that they're all able to come together and,
It's going to be about Moesha and her newborn.
Moesha and her what?
Her newborn. Moesha and the Tales of Motherhood.
Oh, my God.
Because Brandy is pregnant. I don't care what
she
nobody
said.
says.
Apparently, she addressed the rumors of her pregnancy on the show. Now, I didn't watch it, but...
Did
yes.
She?
And
what did she say? I'm like, these are body thetans. These are not.
From what I understand, I asked someone who asked her directly, and was told that she swears that she's not pregnant. She just gained weight. She always gains weight around the time of Whitney, the anniversary of Aunt Nippy's death, and she gained weight. She's not pregnant. She's just gained weight.
Time will tell. Wendy Williams hitting the floor. Ooh, man, I feel like there is at least 5 people out there who are going to send an email out of offense. And so, what do you think about Wendy Williams hitting the floor?
I mean, Wendy Williams definitely hit the floor. I wouldn't say that she was faking or anything, but I do believe that there was more to it than just her overheating. Because as someone who has passed out several times, I think I've passed out a total of 3 times at this point in my life. Mm-hmm. It's never taken me that long. I feel like it took Wendy like a long time to pass out, and I never, in the times that I've passed out, I've never had the presence of mind that Wendy had. I'll tell you what it looked like to me. Of course, this is all speculation, and I was talking about it on Twitter. It looked like Whitney had, for lack of a better word, a Raven-Symoné moment. But I felt like the Lord said something to her. She was afraid, and she passed out because she was scared. I think that the Holy Ghost spoke to Wendy. She heard from God, and she was like, oh my God, what's happening? And she hit the floor because she was afraid. That seemed more logical to me. And she's talking about the overheating, and I was like, girl, it's just like fire.
Your whole chest and neck were out.
Shut up in your bones.
Oh, somebody already sent us an email. So they said, because we talked about it on Jade and XD, I did say what I thought her face looked like, and an experience in which I had in which my face looked exactly the same, and it wasn't where I was passing out. But so if you want to hear about that, you can go listen to the last episode of Jade and XD. But her whole chest and neck were out. I don't know. Somebody sent an email to us and they were like, you all are wrong because my grandmother and my mother have passed out from hot flashes. And I'm very sorry for your mother and your grandmother. However, that did not look.
Passed out from a hot flash. So maybe it is a different kind of experience. I'm not saying that she didn't. I'm just saying it didn't look like that to me.
I don't know.
And I wasn't there. So it's all speculation. I feel like we're entitled and allowed to speculate. If you want to disagree with my speculation, that's your business. But I'm saying what it looked like to me.
And furthermore, Wendy Williams talks about everybody. She talks about everybody. And she talk about your ass too if you were visible enough for her to do so. And so I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, don't talk about Wendy. Wendy talks about everybody. She talks about everything.
Listen.
All I know is the memes and the gifs that followed were genius gold.
Genius gold.
And whoever made genius gold and whoever made the Inception, the That's So Raven one where she had the vision with, and then they went back and then showed the episode of the Wendy Williams. I cried for a smooth 5 minutes.
Wow. Amen. So yeah, Wendy's all right. As long as she's okay, then I'm okay. I mean, as controversial as her career has been, she is somebody who has been a mainstay as far as gossip is concerned, at least in my life.
You're right.
All the way back to her days on radio, I have been watching.
And we're glad she's okay, her. Which is why we
right. Can speak I've been watching and following her and all the mess that she has stirred up throughout her entire career. So, I mean, I don't feel no ways tired.
Wendy? Wendy? Oh, no, Wendy. No, Wendy.
Listen, that iconic interview that will never, ever be forgotten in life.
Yo, if you haven't heard the Whitney Houston and Wendy Williams interview, please go back and listen to it.
Get your life.
Please.
Be blessed. Because you will be. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Is that all? I think that's all the trash.
I think that's it.
Let's go into what's that thing called again? Shout out to my sis.
My sis is popping right now, like.
Shout out to my sis.
Popping right now.
So this week's shout out to my sis is actually a company called Mayzeepedia. We had somebody write in and tell us about Mayzeepedia. So basically they are a company that makes naturally perfect dolls. So dolls for girls of color, for them to have a sense of pride and awareness of their own natural features, hair, and overall beauty. So the really dope thing about these Mayzeepedia dolls are, you know, we do have a lot of black dolls out there now, much more than even what we had growing up. And, you know, you've got your American dolls and they make black dolls so that, our girls can feel included. But the really cool thing about Mayzeepedia is that the dolls have black features. They have features that we carry, and they have 100% human hair, so it can be styled and washed. It's not that synthetic mess. So your daughter or your niece or your granddaughter or whoever can be proud of the type of hair that they have, and they have representation there. You can find Mayzeepedia at mayzeepedia.com. That's MAYZEEPEDIA.com. And get your life. I know they're running a sale right now, a blowout sale, $49.99 to $69.99. You got the holidays coming up, so let's give our little girls something that helps them to represent themselves, something that shows some representation and makes them feel good about who they are.
Yeah, Mayzeepedia is started by a couple, I think. Yes, Angelica and Jason. And they started this company because they wanted their daughter to have dolls to play with that were, culturally consistent and, like Jade said, an adequate and appropriate representation of who she is and will become. So I think it's awesome. Angelica and Jason were featured on an episode of Shark Tank, and they did receive funding. So they're on the come up. And I thought we thought it would be awesome to feature them, and shout out to my sis. Hopefully you guys can check them out. Like Jay said, the information will be in the information box.
Oh, and one more thing. They also donate all their proceeds, not all of them, but they donate part of their proceeds to organizations that focus on the empowerment of women. And so I think that is very, very dope. So support Black business always.
Man. And they are based in Miami, Florida. So hometown.
M-I-A.
So yeah, check them out. Like Jay said, the dolls are on sale now. There are 4 dolls offered. And I believe that the website says they're working on a doll that's going to be inspired by Sasha Obama, which will be really cool.
Both I think Sasha and Malia, if I read correctly.
So yeah, Mayzeepedia.com. Y'all get in. Shout out to Angelica and to Jason. And thank you so much to Crystal Pearson for letting us know about Mayzeepedia and Naturally Perfect Dolls and all that. So check them out, guys. Let us know what you think.
It's kitchen table talk time. Gather around the kitchen table, the card table, whatever you got in your kitchen that you sitting at. The milk cartons.
No, I don't want you to have milk cartons.
They might have just moved.
Mm.
The folding chairs.
No.
What are you eating? What are you snacking on this week, sis?
I don't really have any snacks. I've not been here. I don't have snacks. I just had some juice. Some iced tea.
What kind?
It was iced tea with lemon.
Oh, do you know what I've been doing? Because so I have a super weakness for sweet tea. But I started getting that Simply Mango juice.
I've never had that, but that sounds delightful.
Or the Simply Peach, and mixing it with the iced tea, sis. I mean, when I tell you a refreshing beverage. But anyway.
Oh, what are you snacking on?
Nothing, because my stomach is bothering me, so I'm drinking an orange seltzer water.
Sounds good.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We don't have. Oh, but I did make some hidden red beans and rice yesterday.
That's why your stomach is hurting right now.
That's exactly why my stomach is hurting right now. Turkey necks and andouille sausage. Oh my God, it's so good. My stomach is really hurting from all these creamy, cheesy things that I consumed at this damn catering. But so this week for our kitchen table talk, I was talking to Keia and I said, you know what? Let's do something light because, we've been having some discussions lately. Let's do something light. And I think that there are so many fun things about people's individuality and their families and how they came up because everybody's so different. But then there's always like those staple things that make us feel real good about that we can all laugh about together about growing up Black. And so we thought we would have kind of a light kitchen table talk this week where we ask each other a bunch of questions back and forth, kind of about our childhoods and see what we have in common, what we don't have in common. We'd love for you guys to chime in and tweet us and email us and let us know some of your experiences. But we just thought we'd bounce some questions off of each other and figure out like some different things that we experienced growing up. Because growing up Black is such a magical thing. I think especially in the time that we grew up.
True.
It was fun.
Indeed.
We didn't know how to contour our faces. But anyway, so
thinking about contouring our faces, honestly.
I didn't even know what a contour was.
Certainly not.
Back when you put on some glittery eyeshadow for prom and some lip gloss, maybe you put a little bit more makeup on than usual. You had a nice super gelled down hairdo. Or maybe you stood a nigga up on the day of the prom. I don't know. But it definitely happened. But anyway, sis, yeah, I just thought it would be fun for us to do that. I thought it would be fun for us to ask each other some questions and just talk about growing up Black, because growing up, we're just Black people are magical, and talking about Black shit is just magical. It's fun. It's lighthearted. So
quite frankly, we deserve. All right, so I will jump in. We have quite a few questions, but I'm going to just jump around and kind of see where the conversation takes us. But I will start at the beginning at this point. So, Jade, name 3 things that were in your childhood bedroom. 3 things that were like decorating or adorning the walls, or your bed. What are 3 things that were specific to your bedroom when you were a little kid?
So in all of the bedrooms that I had, because we didn't really have a family house growing up, we moved everywhere. I always had this teddy bear, and his name was Marshall. He had a purple
name.
I always named my dolls and my teddy bears and my fish like very regular names. I had a beta fish named Joseph, but so I had this bear with this purple wizard hat that has these little stars all over it. And he stayed with me until now, because now he is in Noah's room, but he was always in whatever child bedroom I had.
Marshall the bear.
Marshall the bear. Maybe I'll take a picture of him and show him to you guys. Y'all don't give a fuck. And then I always had a radio because I was very big on music from Hurley. My very first tape was The Boys.
You got me going crazy.
So The Boys was my first tape. And so there was always some sort of boombox situation in my room as long as I can remember. And then the third thing, books. I was a huge reader when I was younger. I was a really big leisure reader. So I always had a ton of books. Books were always a very big part of wherever I was. What about you?
Me and my brother had bunk beds. I slept on the top.
I never had bunk beds. I always wanted them.
Yes, and when I think about my childhood bedroom, I think about those bunk beds, and I think about how we had matching Mickey Mouse bed sets. And literally, like, the comforters were red, and it had like Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and all the characters all over the bed sets. I had a Cabbage Patch kid. Her name was Gwendolyn, but I called her Gigi.
And you talked about Marshall.
Gwendolyn. I did not name Gwendolyn. Gwendolyn came with a birth.
You have a Cabbage Patch doll that wears pearl necklaces.
Gwendolyn, Cabbage Patch. First of all, Cabbage Patch kids came with birth certificates. This was the name that they gave her. I did not give her that name. Her name was Gwendolyn, but I called her Gigi for short because I'm sure when I got her, I probably couldn't say Gwendolyn. But Gigi.
Bougie.
Her name was Gigi, and I cut her hair.
Of course.
I did. I cut the little yarn and stuff. But I probably ruined her hair a little bit. But Gigi is still kicking as well. But she doesn't live here with me now. She's staying with my grandmother in Nashville. And she's on the bed. Gigi had outfits, and my grandmother still changes her clothes once a quarter because Gigi is lit.
Oh my God, I love that.
Yes. So, and what else? So I talk about my bunk beds with the red Mickey Mouse sheets. Okay, so I guess the other thing that was super, super important in our bedroom was the television, because that's where it went down. That's where we had the Nintendo, the Sega, and all those games. And we also, we had TV has always been like my favorite thing. I said if I have ever wrote a memoir, there would be a chapter that would be called "You Sitting Too Close to the TV," because I felt like everybody said that to me, and I was one of those kids that will be watching TV and literally the house would be burning down around me, and I would be stuck.
And you just
stuck, just literally inside of the television. And it just like, TV was my thing, man. It just, so good.
My mother said I could have a TV in my room when I could buy one. And that is what happened.
Well, I mean, truth be told, we were all, this was shortly after my parents separated. We were staying in my grandmother's house. So Rhonda was in the room with us. Like the three of us were in that one bedroom. Rhonda had a bed on the other side of the room. So all of us was in there, and we were all, on Saturday nights before church, we would watch Touched by an Angel and Walker, Texas Ranger. That was our bonding time as a family. Brian would be in his bunk. I would be on the top bunk, and Rhonda would be on her bed. We would be watching these shows and getting our lives. That was our family bonding.
Do you know we used to watch as a family? Like, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, I mean, we watch things together every once in a while, but like, you got the Cosby Show. We still didn't watch that together.
Oh my God, we watched everything together.
We watched, but one thing that we all gathered around. I even had like when South Park came out, me and my dad got together I think it came out on Wednesdays. We watched South Park. My dad showed me every John Singleton movie ever made. Like, that was a thing. But we sat around and watched Being Bobby Brown as a family. It was like a thing.
That is so like, whoa, I could have never. That's recent.
Thing.
That's pretty recent. That wasn't during your childhood, was it? Or am I just that old?
What year did Being Bobby Brown
I
came
feel like
out?
I was not in high school. I was in
Hold on.
I was in college when Being Bobby Brown came out, no?
I don't know. I'm team typing moderately right now, but I'm
goodness.
looking it up. Being Bobby Brown came out. Oh, you right. I was grown.
You were an adult.
I wasn't even living there, but we would always watch it. I must have gone to my parents' house and like watched it with them, because I wasn't living there in that time, but we definitely watched it as a force.
Your parents are so cool. Rhonda would not let us watch anything. We couldn't watch Married with Children. I was an adult before I watched Married with Children, because Rhonda was like, that is not for children. So I didn't watch that, and I didn't watch The Simpsons neither, because my mother was like, I don't like that program. But we would watch things together. And my family, because we're dumb, we would always sing the theme songs. Like,
Oh yeah.
It would be like a thing. Because now I feel like I miss that. Like shows don't really have theme songs no more. But the theme songs used to be like, what? Like they used to be like it. I remember the Touched by Angel theme song. Della Reese tore that joint up. Okay, when you walk down
You
the
and XD.
road. Sing, Della. Heavy burden. Hey, heavy load. She sung that. She had meant that. And another one, me and my brother used to listen. Y'all probably, I'm dating myself. Y'all probably not even going to be able to.
Oh, and in Living Color, we watched that as a family.
My mama, I watched In Living Color, but my mother wasn't happy about it. But she wouldn't watch it with me because she was too saved. But the theme song that me and my brother used to literally get absolutely our lives on was Perfect Strangers.
You and XD love all the same theme songs.
That white man who sung that song sung it from his toes. Do you hear me? All of his toes was balled up in his shoes when he sung that.
Also, that the Step by Step and the Full House, whoever them two white people were that sang on every theme song, Family Matters, all of them.
Make it better.
We'll make it better.
The second time.
Like, oh, you felt that, didn't you?
Oh, yes.
Where's the rare condition this day and age?
They used to sing theme songs. Now Nene and them is holding peaches. But they used to be actual songs.
And they didn't it?
Listen.
Now, or they'd be like orchestra, like Game of Thrones, and their like 5-minute intro.
Walker.
They ended up having an entire orchestra show because their music be so lit.
Walker Texas Ranger also had a good theme song. Chuck Norris in The Eyes of the Ranger. The unsuspected.
I used to have like this huge Chuck Norris obsession.
You did?
Like during the time, like when that whole thing adopted where it's like Chuck Norris can walk on water and all of that. I had this huge obsession with and I would come up with all of the most ridiculous, insane things that Chuck Norris can do. In addition, and so yes, I used to have a very big obsession with Chuck Norris.
I remember he used to sell those exercise machines on at night. What is it called? Something. Oh my gosh, I can't think of it.
On the infomercials.
Yeah, like he used to sell those things. I don't know.
Speaking of which, okay, I'm glad you. So the next question for me.
All right, Dean.
Did you ever have like a really weird obsession or like a really weird thing that you did as a kid that might not have been like kid-like?
What do you mean? Like I used to watch stories with my grandma.
Okay, so that could be it. Like my sister used to be obsessed with Price is Right.
Oh my God, we watch Price is Right as a family to this day.
That was my sister and my grandma's time. That was their time. Like I liked Price is Right, but I was like, this is y'all's thing. And my sister was like 4.
Price is Right is we play along and we watch Wheel of Fortune. Of course. And we watch all the game shows and be actively playing like at the dinner table. It'd be like it's serious business.
Wheel of Fortune.
I'm nice at Wheel of Fortune. No. Yo, I'm saying I'm nice at Wheel of Fortune. I'm nice at Jeopardy. But Wheel of Fortune, I could probably make some money, legit.
Same. I could win Wheel of Fortune as long as I don't end up on bankruptcy. I could win Wheel of Fortune.
But Price is Right.
But when I was a kid,
Right is the thing. Like
that was for everybody.
Yeah, man.
I used to be obsessed with two things. Emeril Lagasse. I don't know what it was, but I loved Emeril Lagasse's cooking show from the very first time I saw it.
I feel like I was grown too when Emeril Lagasse stepped on the scene.
Nope. Emeril Lagasse came out. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you. And then, as I looked that up, George Foreman infomercials. When the George Foreman grill came out, I begged my parents for a George Foreman grill.
I feel like I was grown then too because I feel like I was not a little kid when George Foreman.
Because I remember the house that I was living in when the George Foreman infomercials came out. I wasn't a little kid, but we weren't grown at all. I'm trying to see what year this man's show came out.
1994. I guess you're right.
Yep, 1994.
The eyes of the Ranger are upon.
Then he opened them restaurants, and I begged to go to one of them Emeril Lagasse restaurants. And then I went, and the food was really small. But Yes, those were two obsessions that I had as a kid. What you got?
Okay then. Let's change gears a little bit. What was your favorite game to play outside?
Nigga knock.
You're gonna have to explain that to the people.
Where you go and knock on people's door and run.
That is just trespassing. It is illegal in all 50 states. Oh my God. That is not a game. That is a criminal activity.
Throw the firecrackers at your door. Smoke bombs.
What kind of terrorist children? These are not games.
Kids. That you didn't play with fire?
I did not. I did not.
You ain't never had them smoke bombs? You know them little round bombs and you put them at people's door and you light them on fire and as soon as they open them, it's a huge cloud of colorful smoke?
Totally never did that in my life.
Well, I did. But you know, tag and Miss Mary Mac, I love to jump rope. I loved hopscotch. You know, like kid activities. A nigga like to ride a bike. Like, I did kid activities too, but we also were bad, I guess. If that's what you want to call it. I call it being kids.
No, I call it being bad. Double Dutch was probably ranks pretty high on the list. What's that game? Mother May I?
Mother May I
was my joint. Red Light, Green Light was also
Red Light, Green Light.
I was actually quite nice at Red Light, Green Light because can't nobody see my freeze game still. I'm out here. Froze.
I don't know.
Red Light, Green Light was a big deal. I didn't really hopscotch too much.
Hand games. I loved a good hand,
certainly.
You know, and I love to jump rope. I wasn't great at double dutch, but you know.
We used to play five. Did y'all play 5, 4, 3, 21? That was my joint. That was like I don't even know how to describe that. But if you played 5, 4, 3, 21, let me know. Tweet me. That was a good time.
Oh, and we built a lot of obstacle courses too.
Oh.
We built a lot of obstacle courses just out of random shit. And then we put on a football helmet. I don't know where it came from. And go through it.
Well, we had a big backyard at my grandmother's house. So we played kickball and we had a basketball court in the backyard. Lots of different things. We played stupid games too. Like we would make things up.
Oh, of course. Every time.
But we did a lot of stuff like inside, like the inside.
I was about to say, what is your favorite indoor game?
I don't even know if we like board games and stuff. I would probably have to say Trouble because every Sunday when we was younger, my grandfather used to play either Trouble or Sorry with us. Like Sunday evening, he would play Trouble or Sorry, and it became like a big deal. So if we talking about actual legit games, it would have to be Trouble or Sorry. And Uno is still a big hit in my house. Like we still play Uno to the death.
Uno's the GOAT. And then Phase 10 became
I love Phase 10. Oh my God. I love Phase 10 right now.
Yo, me and my cousins would literally, like when we'd visit each other, we would sit up and play Phase 10 till like 3 a.m. like it was spades.
I would rather like play Phase 10. Like that's literally because right now I'm not too much into the games. I get tired very quickly. But Phase 10 is probably the only game that I will probably play and see through.
Ooh,
I be the one. I'm the one on the taboo team that's like, who wants to switch with me? I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more. Somebody, okay.
You irritating. Did you used to play MASH?
Oh yeah, I was actually the queen of MASH. MASH, that was like the games and stuff I used to play to occupy my time in church. That's before the kids started being able to bring like goodie packs of activities to do. Activity packs, activity bags. Like, you know, you used to get a piece of paper and a pen.
No, my mom used to give us the paper and the pen and be like, make a tally mark every time you hear Jesus.
Oh, no.
Tally mark every time you hear it.
No, Rhonda wasn't on that. No, she didn't do that.
And then it grew into, why do you smell like brown liquor? But anyway, no, I used to play a lot of MASH. That was my favorite indoor game.
I would have played MASH like right now. That would be fun.
But we've been playing spades since we were like 10, 11 years old.
I didn't learn how to play spades until college because my grandfather.
Oh, I learned early.
My grandfather is.
My parents played.
Huh? I'm sorry, I cut you off.
Go ahead.
My grandfather was a minister, a pastor, and he did not allow cards in the house.
My parents were heathens who had card parties.
I wouldn't say that. That always. Now that I'm grown, I don't. I feel like I don't think that gambling is specific to car. That's my argument for now. Like right now, if I had to debate it with my grandfather, I'm like, niggas will bet over Uno. Like you don't have to be.
Niggas will bet
exactly.
over anything.
You don't have to have cards to be gambling. But I think he didn't want us, like, it was all about gambling. We were not allowed to play cards in the house because we don't gamble. And he was even leery of games that had, like, dice. It would be like, son, it's Monopoly. But
I definitely shot craps all through high school.
I don't know how to do it. Like,
your grandparents would be like, you can't hang out with her.
So many things that I don't know how to do, or like that I did not get exposed to until I was grown for that reason. Like legit, like
I exposed myself to so many things, and I was exposed to multiple things. My parents didn't play a lot of. They didn't shoot craps or nothing, but they played the hell out of some spades and some bid whiz. They played the hell out of some spades and some bid whiz.
I don't think there's nothing about that makes you a heathen or anything. Nothing at all.
No, it's everything else that comes along with it. But oh my God. When you tell the kids to go in the room and don't come out. I remember one time I was like 15 and we went out and we were out till like 4 a.m. I just knew because my parents were having a house party. My parents had like house parties. And my dad DJ'd just like he did for me, but these were grown house parties, and they would either tell us to go in the room or we'd have to go over somebody's house or whatever. And a lot of their friends had kids our age, so, a lot of times we'd be there. But at this time, me and my homegirls went out, and we're 15, but we, you had one who could drive, and you're going around. We got back to the house, thought we was about to sneak in. These niggas were still partying and asked us what we were doing back so early. They didn't even realize what time it was, and we just knew we was going to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. We just knew it. 4 o'clock in the morning, 15? Nah. But, yeah, those were... I think MASH was my favorite indoor game. Like, illegitimate indoor game.
Okay, so... spankings or timeout?
Whoopings. Beatings.
Oh, I wasn't beat. I was definitely spanked.
And groundings. I was grounded. I was spanked until I was like 6, and then I was beat.
I think I was definitely older the last spanking. I think my last spanking was probably around age 10 or so.
I was about to ask you.
It was probably around age 10. But I think that I would request a spanking other than like before being on punishment, because punishment in my house was like absolutely the living worst thing ever. Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't just like no TV. My grandfather had this chair in his room. It had like a pink blanket over it. It was called the pink chair. And when you was in trouble, you had to sit in the pink chair, like, and just sit there. And the worst part, like, listen, I could, as much as I love TV, and if I couldn't watch TV, that was in fact punishment for me. Like that was like total punishment for me. But beyond the punishment of not being able to watch TV, I was ignored. And if you want to get on, like, if you want to get on my nerves, nothing grinds my gears than niggas moving around me like they don't see me. Like that. Woo! That thing just gets on, like, under my skin. Like they didn't even talk. I would be like, "Hey, how was your day? What's going on?" And niggas would just be moving about. Like I was not even sitting there. And you want to talk about? I would be so. I was perplexed. I was flummoxed. Every part of me was just like, oh, like, word. I know you see me. I would be having a total fit. Like, don't ignore me. I'm here.
No, wasn't none of that going on in my house. We got beat. Sometimes my dad, like, as we got a little bit older, he'd be like, "You want to get beat or you want to get grounded, or you want?"
If I had a choice, I would always say, "Beat the heck out of me, honey. Just please beat me."
Yeah, I remember one time I was supposed to go to this sleepover, but I didn't want to go because the family was like weird. So I was supposed to go to the sleepover, and I was trying to find every excuse not to go to the sleepover. I ended up doing something, getting in trouble, and my dad was like, "So you want a beating or you want to stay home from the slumber party?" I was like, "I'll stay home from the slumber party." He was like, "Nope, I'm gonna beat you."
See. You wasn't even.
That's
You wasn't
torture.
even thinking.
That's child
He
abuse.
was in reverse psychology.
And it was the worst. That slumber party was the worst. I remember the fridge door came off at the people's house. Like the whole door. Like the brother came in and I was in the kitchen and the brother like went in the fridge to get something and took the whole door off.
I don't know
was
what
like,
kind,
yo.
And that is the
like,
reason
what
why.
are you doing?
That's the reason why I've spent the night over one person's house. In my mother did not play that. I stayed in my cousin Muffin's house, and that is it. All of my friends had slumber parties. I could stay until about 10:30, and then my mother would be like, "I'm outside. Hello, Takia has to leave now. Thank you for inviting her." Like it was not.
Can you tell Takia I'm here?
No,
I'm not
she was
in?
like, "No, I will be back to get you at 10 o'clock, girl. Be ready." Like, she was not playing. She was not about that.
Cause she didn't want you coming to people's house like me, where you was gonna be watching. I got the hookup, or like
my mother was always very like. I mean, she wouldn't articulate it now, but I mean, she wouldn't articulate it then. But now, I feel like my mom was really like. She was always leery of people's uncles and brothers and cousins and stuff.
My mom
she was like,
too.
Because you know she got that older brother over there.
Make sure you wear clothes. Do they have brothers?
She was always leery.
I'm like, damn, you can't just be asking if people have fathers.
She was very, very leery of those kinds of things, and it was just like no. So I only had one sleepover.
Because they have a brother.
No, I had like I should say I only had one person that could sleep over. My cousin Muffin, and I would go to her house, and that is it. Anybody, I probably slept over.
That don't even count as a sleepover to me.
It's family. I can think of one other person that I spent the night over her house. But I was with my cousin Muffin. and it was a lady from my church. But my mom was not playing about those kinds of things. I remember.
No, my mom was paranoid, but there were certain friends I could spend the night at their house, and she wouldn't have but she was definitely paranoid and always asked about a damn brother and
I feel like,
and just was
man, you're right. And I have to say, even though I thought my mom was crazy back in the day, but I feel like if I was to have a little girl, I would be just like her. No, you're not going over there. Absolutely not.
Because I don't like the way that the stepdaddy
certainly
breathes.
Not. I'm certainly not. Like I feel like I would be just.
No, I'm about to be like, can I spend the night at Savannah's house? And I'm gonna be like, because I don't know her daddy like that. He only spoke to me once.
Exactly. My mother was so big on asking about people's parents. Who are her people? Where does she stay?
Who are her family? Who lives in their house? Where do they? Because it was always like, where do they live? Where do they live? And I'm like, you can't just be asking where people live and if they have fathers. You can't just be out here doing that.
All right. Let me ask you this: do you remember what was your first day of school outfit in 6th grade?
Oh, 6th grade. It was a uniform.
Oh, y'all wore uniforms? Dang.
Yeah.
I wore uniform.
8th grade, I didn't.
I wore uniforms until 4th grade because that's when we left. Well, I was in Catholic school until 4th grade, and then we left.
I only wore uniforms for. Wait, did we? We didn't wear them in elementary until it was new. Like they had just implemented it for public school to wear uniforms. And so I think we started wearing them in like 5th grade because I wore what I wanted until 4th grade. And then 5th grade, we started wearing. So I wore uniforms for 5th, 6th, and 7th. And then that was it. Those were the only years I wore uniforms.
What?
But I remember, what was my first? 8th grade though. What was my first? I feel like it was some Tommy Hilfiger. I think I had some Tommy Hilfiger sneakers and a Tommy Hilfiger like wind breaker
Swishies.
jacket thing. But it was one of them swishy jackets that don't do anything.
Oh,
and
I had all the
and some
swishy
jeans.
sets, man. Woo.
And I had a silver canvas, a silver messenger bag. Tommy Hilfiger.
What
was
a bag.
Silver. It was so ugly.
Gosh. Son.
But I thought I was so fly going up there with all my Tommy on.
I was so pressed.
What was your 6th grade?
I remember this
outfit?
very specifically because my daddy took me to Fordham Road.
Yes! Easy pickings.
Fordham Road in the Bronx. We got on the train. We went to Fordham Road. I was so pressed. I'm going to get my first day of school outfit.
Off the 4 train.
I'm going, you know what I'm saying? It's getting my first day of school outfit. I had some purple jeans. They was probably cross color. We got them from Jimmy Jazz.
Jimmy Jazz
is still around. But I had the purple jeans. I had some feelers.
Yes,
the high top, but mine were purple and white to match my jeans, of course. And I had this like polka dot top. I don't know who that was by. It was probably some random, I don't know, but it was like a polka dot top. I had my feelers and my purple jeans. I was so excited, and I had a purple JanSport book bag.
Come on,
and
JanSport.
I had my mother. See, back in the day, I could only wear my jewelry to church. I could not wear my jewelry to
These
school.
are such interesting rules.
Yes, I could only when we was dressed up. I had like a ring, and I had a name necklace, and
oh yeah,
and I could wear my earrings to school, and I had a bracelet, but I couldn't wear the other jewelry, the other stuff because we had to like change for gym and stuff, and Rhonda was always concerned I was going to lose my stuff. But she let me wear my necklace to school, and I was so pressed. I don't even remember how my hair was, but I was
about to ask you how was your hair.
I
had bangs, and mine was half up.
I don't
and half
think I
down.
had. I want to say it was probably just a ponytail. But I will say in 7th grade I wore my hair. That's when I started going to the hairdresser regularly. Rhonda kept me in the hairdresser. I told you I had a standing hair appointment once a week my whole life. And they probably started around the 7th grade. And I will say in 7th grade, I wore flips. Yo, I used to wear my hair going all back, and I would flip it.
With a flip.
And I was styling, profiling. Y'all are mad. It's okay.
I definitely had flips. And I've also had the flips where when I would curl it, like I did it too tight.
Listen, growing up black, flips, honey. If you never wore no flips.
Wait, flips and crimps.
Crimps. My mother wasn't really into the crimps too much because she was like, it's damaging. And she thought they were grown. No. I remember being in 6th grade and I wanted to get French rolls. The French roll was like the hump at the top, and then you would wear the back down, either flipped or bumped under. My mother let me do that for like Easter, but she would not let me get that. And my friend Tabitha, her sister was in the BOCES program to be a cosmetologist, so she used to practice on Tabitha's hair. Tabitha used to be in the 6th grade with full French rolls with pearls and gold clamps. And we'd be like, girl, what? Where are you going? Like full hairdos. Oh my gosh.
Do you remember that little bandana phase? It had that little phase where there was like a little bandana, like a little thing to match every outfit.
Like Tupac, wear it around your head.
You wear it around your head, but it wasn't necessarily like the standard bandana. It was like they had these strings, and they sold them everywhere, like Claire's, Forever 21, all of that. And they would have these little bandanas that you would tie. And some people I wore the bang with the wrap, and I would wear the little bandana. Oh God, we dressed so ugly.
I had bangs in 7th grade, but that was probably the last time I had a bang. Until prom, I had
bangs. I had up and down bangs from like all through elementary.
I didn't like bangs
and junior high.
I had bangs. Yeah, I had bangs for prom, but they were like a faux bang. It was like she just like it was just like I have to explain it. It's like the track and then the updo, but it just looked like it was a bang, but it wasn't.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
A faux bang.
I know what you're talking about. My cousins had that for their prom. But I loved me some crimps. Let me tell you. I had me a golden hot crimp iron, and I used to crimp the shit out of my hair, and it probably was damaging and shit.
Frying.
But it looked good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. What would you say is the most let me read one of yours.
It doesn't matter.
Most memorable disciplinary moment. Please share. Please share.
So, oh my God, I'm not trying to plug myself, but we did have an entire episode about school. on Jade and Keia 2 weeks ago with Crystal. And so I've talked about that. But for those who have not listened, my most memorable disciplinary moment, there's two. There was that time I got a beating when I was 15 because I waited until the last minute to watch 3 Star Wars movies and read a book for my final. And the night before the final, I told my dad, I was like, yo, I need to go to Blockbuster. And he was like, for what? I was like, I got to rent all the Star Wars movies. He's like, for what? I was like, for my English class, and I have to watch them. And he was like, all right, so I'll take you tomorrow before school. And I was like, no, I need to go now. And he was like, why? I was like, because it's tomorrow. He's like, all right. He took me to Blockbuster. We rented all 3 Star Wars movies, and then he came back and gave me the beating of my existence. I mean, he beat me with a weight belt. And then I begged for my dad he was really interesting. He beat me with a weight belt. No, he was not abusive. And I feel like times were very different then. And then I begged for him to use a regular size belt. He was like, oh, you want, okay. He went and got a smaller belt. And let me tell you, I wished for that weight belt all over.
It's the little one
again. So there was that. But the most memorable is when I had a boyfriend. A boy I agreed to go with in the 6th grade. And I was so mad because I did not want to go with this nigga. And I'm sorry if you're hearing this story again. And so the nigga wrote me a note and was like, I love you, baby. I'm so glad you said you would go with me. I'm so glad you said you'd be my woman. Like, I'm not a woman. I don't even have a period yet. And I threw it in the bottom of my bag. The nigga was ugly. Like, he was short. I was just but he pressured me. So I was like, fine, nigga, I'll go with you just so he'll leave me alone. So the next day I was getting up for school and I was getting ready. And my mother was like, why your bag? You got so much stuff in your bag. You got too much stuff in your bag. It's bad for your back. She was like, get some of this stuff out of here before you go to school. And I was like, no, I'll clean it up later. And she was like, no, this is not good for you. And I was like, I'll do it later. And she's like, what are you hiding in here? So she starts going through my bag. She finds this note from Larry. And she was like, oh, I'm going to tell your father. So she told him, and my dad came home. And he acted like nothing was wrong. What's going on? How you doing? Good. How was your day? It was fine. Like, waiting for this nigga to say something. He don't say nothing the whole night. We eat dinner, watch TV, all of that. I go to bed. About 2 o'clock in the morning, my dad comes and wakes me up. Get up. I was like, why? He was like, get up. I was like, what's wrong? He was like, nothing. I need you to get up. I want you to walk around the house twice. So I was like, what? So he has me walk through the kitchen, walk through the living room, come back to my room, tells me to go back around, come do it again. I went back to my room. I was like, what the hell? Like, what is this? He was like, you want to go with little niggas? This is what happens. You end up getting pregnant. You got to get up in the middle of the night and walk around with a baby. He was like... So he's like, you want to go with little niggas? Like, you want to go with them? He was like, this is what the outcome is. This is what happens. And you're going to be waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But next time it's going to be with a baby. And let me tell you something. I'm not getting up with you.
Oh my gosh.
That was the most memorable disciplinary moment I have ever had in my life. My mama
had a conversation with me, but I wouldn't say it was a disciplinary moment. And it wasn't even like I was dating anyone. Someone called my house to get the math questions. They wanted to know whether or not we supposed to do even or odd. So they called my house, right? They was just like, we supposed to do even or odd. Like, it was so dramatic. Like, I was somewhere in the house and it was like, Keia, telephone. And it was just like, it's Marcus. And everyone was like, what? Like, Marcus. But it was nothing. This was not like a dating situation. He literally was just like, hey, we supposed to do the odd questions or the even questions. And I was like, how you get my number? Like, what are you doing? So, so I remember, and my mother waited so patiently. She was so just nice and quiet about it. And I was sitting on the couch and she came and sat next to me and was just like, let me tell you something. I have raised my children, Keia. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, what are you talking? I have raised my children. I will not raise another one. So you want to be out here having these boys call the house? You want to be out here doing all kinds of things? That is your business, girl. But I'm telling you that I will not. You will be on your own. Do you hear what I'm saying? I'm like 11. I'm like, girl, what are you talking about? Like, I was 11 years, like, I was like, I'm so confused right now. I was like, are you dating? Am I dating? What are you talking? He asked, are you, where am I going? Like, dating? Are you kidding me? Like,
you know where
I was so confused. She had a conversation, but I wouldn't say that was a disciplinary moment. If I had to think, it was elementary school though. It wasn't like middle school. And we had notebooks. Me and my friends, we had notebooks. Like you would like write a letter in a notebook and give it to your friend.
And give it to them. And then they write what and give it back.
And we would write all
we had those with paint markers.
Foolishness in those. We would be talking about people, talking about boys, all this other thing. And it wasn't really the content. My mother was most concerned about the cursing because it would just be like for no reason cursing, like just outright, no rhyme, no reason, just expletives. Just, they didn't even make sense. So I was just like, exactly. Like, girl, this is not even, what does that mean? Somebody found a book. One of the parents found a book and it became like a thing and we all kind of got, and my mother made me read the book, and I was just like, oh my God, I will die. Like, I cannot read this out loud. No, read it. You wrote it. You have to read it. Read it where we can hear you. And I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to read it. Why? You don't want to say these ugly words that you've been writing? You're supposed to be writing? I'm just like, girl, why have you, now you don't want to say the words that you've been writing. I'm like, girl.
My cheeks hurt.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that was the most memorable disciplinary moment because I can remember like literally standing up in the living room sweating profusely through my Hanes sweatsuits. I wore lots of those. Rhonda was big. She would go to Kmart, Caldors, and get sweatsuits, honey.
I count.
She would get them sweatsuits. They had to be like, you could get like 5 for $20 or something. She would get colors. She would get 2 neutrals and 3 colors. So it would be like gray, black, and then it would be like pink, green, purple. My mother was so big on like duplicates. I remember having like multiple things. So remember when overalls were really big? I had overalls, these short overalls. I had fuchsia, turquoise, and purple and yellow. And I mean, like literally, I just cycled into those, like literally just rotated those 4 pairs of overalls like once a week. Mom.
We went on a vacation to Chicago one summer, and we were gonna be gone for like a month. And my mom, I think she went to the Gap or somewhere and bought like shorts in like 8 different colors and all of these tank tops, and was like rotate.
That's good.
She was so big on that. But I didn't really have like a staple anything that I wore growing up. Like I kind of just, I don't know. I wore what I liked.
You didn't have a sense of style?
I had a lot of cross colors.
Style.
No, I was a tomboy. I was a big tomboy.
Well, I know I was.
Yeah, I think so. That was the style. But one thing I didn't wear was baby fat jackets.
I feel like I was grown when baby fat.
I know you didn't. You know why? Because you don't have no children.
Yeah, I think I don't know. One thing that I did all the time though in school, and I really don't. I think it was because I was chubby and very, 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 very like uncomfortable in my body, for lots of different reasons. So this is like interesting. It has nothing really to do with the show, but I feel like I want to say this right now. I think that like growing up in the church, having curves was like frowned upon. Not necessarily. Well, I wouldn't say that someone looked at you. I don't feel like I was shamed because I feel like everyone was conscious and clear that like it wasn't my fault. Like you shaped the way you shaped. But I definitely remember it being like if you know everything being too tight on your butt or like, you know, all these kinds of things.
Or make sure you wear a slip.
Yes, but I just remember being so super self-conscious until it made me like not appreciate having a butt and hips and stuff. Like I thought that these were terrible things because all of my skinny bony friends who didn't have no body, no one was ever telling them about their clothes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, someone was always finding something to say about me because I felt like, you know, I had a butt like my whole life. And
I always had a butt.
I wished, so I said that to say, like, in middle school, and in high school, I wore my coat like all day long. Like, yes, clothes were not baggy and all that stuff. But even after, like, when girls started dressing like girls, because I remember in high school and girls started wearing like, though, like, girls didn't wear like book bags no more. They were wearing like them shoulder bags from like Contempo Casuals, and everyone had like Coach belts. And I remember when girls started,
or then baby
you know,
t-shirts.
people started getting their nails done and stuff. So I remember when, you know, girls started transitioning into like more feminine things, but I had this peacoat. Again, my daddy took me somewhere, Fordham Road or what's another 125th Street or something, and I had a peacoat. It was reversible. One side was just navy blue. The other side was like different colors. It was like this terrible pattern, horizontal color. I don't know, but horizontal colors. It was like a red stripe, a green stripe, a yellow stripe, a blue stripe. And I wore that coat every single day. Every day. And just because it was just like my security blanket, because I was in my coat. And I didn't even realize that it was a thing. But when I went senior year in high school, I went to prom and niggas like found out that I had a little body up underneath all of that. It was like, whoa. Like, it was like, oh, hey, like, it was like, I'm still the same kid y'all been walking past your whole life. But I remember that. So I don't even know. Like, I had all the, you know, it was same old thing. We all wore sneakers and jeans and Timbs. And I remember fleeces. I love the fleece. I remember asking my mama I had that lime green Old Navy Performance fleece. That was on my Christmas list, girl. Like, I
had a yellow one and a red one.
It was such a big deal. But we wore all the same things. Oh my God. But I definitely wore my coat. I wore my coat until I was just like, all right. I remember I tried to lose a little weight because I didn't want to be chubby for prom. So I ran track for like a few minutes and I lost a gang of weight. And then it was like, oh, I don't got to wear my coat no more because, you know, I don't got a belly.
That's when niggas start really seeing it, when I started running track. And it was like,
yeah, man. And I remember my mom came to that track meet and was just like, well, why do they have you running these little draws? I'm like, but they're briefs. Everybody on the team wears... Everybody in the team wears the briefs. So I don't understand why you got to wear your panties out there.
No, my mother was the opposite. She kept asking me if I was lesbian until I was like 22. So, because I was a tomboy for so long. No, she asked me if I was very tomboyish. I had a good amount of
dressed like a stud
lesbian friends in high school, and I dressed like a stud. I wore fitteds. I wore like Dickie jumpsuits. I wore jeans and like big hoodies. Like I wore, you know, big clothes. But so yeah, she asked me that for mad long. The most ridiculous thing I ever did was put a pack of Rolos wrapper in my mouth, and
terrible.
I had a grill in my 8th grade picture, and my mother was.
She should have been. She should have been angry.
She should have been. What is this?
She should have been.
And that's when they would give you the pictures and they would tell you, they'd give you literally the whole pack, like the family size, so all of that, and be like, tell your parents if they want to buy this package or this package. I'm like, your dumbasses are giving these pictures. We ain't paying for this and giving these back to you. You already gave them to us.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And my mother was like, I'm not paying for them. They already gave them to you. But she was big mad. I was like, how you going to be mad? You ain't even pay for the pictures.
Remember when you had to get your school pictures and you could pick the background? My mother never, ever let me pick my background. I always wanted like the fun one. And she was like, traditional. I'm like, girl, don't nobody want to sit in front of this blue background every year. I was upset. Girl, just let me. I'm like, what are you doing? I was so mad.
In elementary school, my mom would be so upset on picture day because she'd be like, that is not how I did your hair that morning. That is not how I did your hair.
Like, my mother said, if you put that little comb in your hair, I will beat you open. I will beat you until you bust open. You understand?
You're going to get lice. You're going to get lice. I'm like, black people don't get lice.
The little lady used to try to touch. Don't let that lady touch your hair neither. I did it. It's done.
Oh my God. My mom when I remember I had the most ridiculous grown haircut in third grade. I had the longest hair, and I begged.
You had an asymmetrical.
Begged my mother for a bob. Oh no, sis! I had a bob, like a full blown bob to my ears. I asked for a short. I asked to cut all my hair off, and I wanted bangs, and they flat ironed my hair, and I had a bob. And I don't know why at the time. Now I'm looking at my mother now crazy because they shaved the back of my neck. Like, I got it done in a salon, and it was a black, well-known salon. They did the hell out of my hair, but there's no reason I should
looking like Salt and Pepper. Girl, get your life. Nobody has time for you. Out here looking like Spinderella.
My grandmother saw me, and she was like, is that a shaved neck?
Oh, God. I hope y'all are...
And I wore mad rings.
Oh my God. I had a ring era as well. This was in high school though. I had I had a jewelry thing. At one point I had so many necklaces. Yes. I would wear like 3 or 4 chains out here looking crazy. So stupid.
Yes. Name necklaces. I had the
oh my God,
the gold heart rings with the initial
all that stuff cost $12 and you would just be out here.
Oh no, mine was gold. I got it from
it was gold plated.
It was gold though. Or you get it from like
anything from the kiosk. Talk about I go all my gold from Fordham Road. It was gold.
It was like,
girl, it cost $20.
It was cheaper.
It cost $20. But yes.
What was your favorite movie as a kid?
I can't. The first thing that popped in my head is Ghost Dad. I don't know why. I just remember my mother took me and my brother to the movies. It was my first time in the movie theater, and I was so pressed. Like, oh my God, we're going to the movies. I don't want to say it was my favorite.
What's the first movie I saw?
I don't want to say it was my favorite movie, but there are definitely movies I watched over and over again. I don't know though. It was Sister Act 2 and Sister Act, like Sister Act with the nuns though. That was my joint.
Sister, yeah, with the nuns.
Hail, Mother of Mercy and of Love. Oh, my.
Remember when we thought that little skinny one was really singing? Like we were like, oh, she can sing. And now I go back and listen to it. I'm like,
like a mug though.
That was not her voice.
I can't think. I know I watched Honey, I Shrunk the Kids a whole lot. And Home Alone, I had all of them joints. And all the Disney joints. You know what I'm saying? Too. And because we watched Disney different in my house though, because we were all musically inclined. We would just be in there singing down. Like
I feel like that is a black.
It got to the point, man. I'm telling you, singing. We would sing it down like harmony. My house was just like not your average house though, because my grandfather grew up singing like quartet, and we all sung like in church and stuff. So like we would get shaded and in trouble if it was unison. It'd be like my mother would literally come and count like it's 3 of y'all. Why I only hear 2 parts? Excuse me. We'd be like, sorry, girl, figure it out.
Again, I had heathen parents. Like it was not, we would sing together. I mean, it was like, I just can't wait to be. Everybody can't wait to be king singing in my house.
Singing.
But my grandmother and my father both sung, but they sung at like weddings and shit. Like people would ask them to sing at like events, and they would sing like Luther Vandross or like, they would sing like Will Downing and Michelle Farrell duets.
Come on,
stuff like that. But my parents also would like have us sit up there and perform for them. And I remember my sister was like 8 years old up there singing Mary J. Blige, Not Gonna Cry. And they were so entertained. I'm like, but your 8-year-old is talking about not being somebody's lover and secretary.
Not secretary.
What are y'all doing? You just up there talking about, look at her. Look at her. Like, your 8-year-old is distraught over a nigga. Like, I'm trying to figure out.
Me and my brother and my cousin Brandon got like, we got toy microphones one year for Christmas. And we used to like set up in the living room and like perform straight up like concerts. We used to put on these like concert VHS tapes and literally sing along. My brother had a guitar. He would probably bust me upside my head for like saying this to other people. He had a red guitar, and when I tell you that boy used to play that guitar on that microphone, and I would be like, it would be a thing. And we would play Office, and we would play church. We would like flip a coin over like who was going to be the preacher. I would always love to read the announcements. Giving honor to God, who is the head of my life. Like, what an idiot. Like, why would we do these things?
What were my favorite movies as a kid? Oh, I used to love Adventures in Babysitting, and then
oh my gosh,
Lean on Me was one of my
quote.
word for word.
Wow, I'm tripping.
Smoke crack.
Right. I'm tripping because I loved movies like Ghostbusters and Ninja Turtles, and we used to we saw all the Batmans, like all the Batmans,
all of them,
factual,
like Jack Nicholson in the theater. I remember my parents. They dropped us off. They went out somewhere and they dropped us off at somebody's house and picked us up at like 9:00 and took us to the movies when Malcolm X came out and made us go watch Malcolm X.
It's a community outing. We're going.
They were, and then same with Crooklyn. We went to go see Crooklyn when it came out, and that was one of my favorite movies too.
Oh my gosh, this is fun. I hope that people don't like hate it. They're like, y'all are just talking. we just talking.
That's exactly what we're doing. But it's growing up black.
I'm anxious to hear if people can relate to this. If y'all want to share stories, or if we just the only crazy ones. What was your favorite after school snack?
Beefaroni.
Son, why do we have that's not a snack? That's a meal. We will always come home and have
a snack for us.
And when I think about it, there was a reason why I was almost 200 pounds in high school, because I would come home from school every day and have a meal before dinner.
Beefaroni.
Like full course meal.
And let me tell you, I ate like a pregnant woman when I was a kid because I had a combination that I like lived for, and I do not know why, but I would have beefaroni. Like me and my sister would split a can of beefaroni, and I would make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and I always had to have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and beefaroni, and that would probably give me diarrhea now. But
what is wrong with you? I ate terribly.
I loved that combination.
It is a wonder. It is a wonder that I don't have horrible cholesterol issues. I ate so bad. In high school, we used to eat so awful. Okay. For lunch, I would get a bagel with cream cheese and I would put Doritos on the bagel.
Oh my God.
Isn't that the most disgusting thing you've ever heard? But that joint tasted so good. It was amazing.
But so is beefaroni.
And then I would have my bagel and chips. And then I would go get 3 Otis Spunkmeyer cookies, sugar, and I would have an Arizona iced tea. We talking like 3,000 calories. This is lunch. This is lunch. And then I would go home and have a pack of ramen. I would have a pack of ramen for my snack, right? I would have a pack of ramen and like some Sunny Delight. And then
my mom did.
And then my grandmother would always cook full course meals every day. Like she didn't play around with none of them quick 30-minute joints. It was I'm talking about a meat and 3 sides every day. And I would sit up and eat. It'd be fried chicken and noodles or something, like chicken and dumplings and green beans and cornbread, or like meatloaf and mashed potatoes after I just had ramen, a full pack of ramen at like 4 p.m. And I'm sitting up here eating dinner at 7 o'clock.
That was my favorite snack. I loved the fuck out of some beefaroni.
Child.
Them weird noodles.
Awful.
What else did I eat? I ate so much trash. We definitely drink Kool-Aid. But my mom didn't buy Sunny D. And she didn't buy a lot of soda either. Like we weren't big soda people. And my parents actually got on that whole healthy wave pretty early in my life, like probably when I hit like 11, because we ate like real niggas up until then. Oh, which brings, okay, you know what? I'm gonna flip it and bring it to my next question. What did your mom have, like any staple meals that she would make? Like any
once a week we would have like certain things you knew that you was gonna have once a week. Mini steaks was one of them. Mini steaks and gravy with rice, probably like cream corn or something. You had to have chicken. Usually. Always. And then Thursday nights was spaghetti.
That's real. I think we ate spaghetti once a week. We ate white rice with everything.
Yeah, man. We ate white rice. Everything. But I think if it wasn't mini steaks, my grandma would make like hamburgers and gravy. That was a big one. On special occasions, not special occasions, but every now and then we would have something like chicken pot pie or lasagna or something like that. But once a week you was having chicken, fried or baked. Like it would be chicken and rice, chicken and noodles, chicken and dumplings, one of those things. My grandma was also good for throwing the salmon croquette up in there too.
My grandpa loved the salmon croquette.
She would make salmon croquettes. Sometimes we would have like ham and apples.
Oh.
Yeah. And
ooh, that sounds like
ham and apples, and she would make a homemade roll. Jesus, God is moving. So good, so good, so good. So like the routine was whatever we ate on Sunday, you had leftovers on Monday, and then Tuesdays would like start the rotation. So like
I think, I think that must. So I think that's a staple thing because we had chicken at least fried or baked, mostly baked chicken, throughout the week. My mom, because my mom is a chef, like she would cook other things, but my dad had like real staple meals. So I told you that my family got on the healthy wave like real early. So we started doing brown rice early. We did so much baked chicken, and then my parents started. So I also grew up, while I grew up very Black, I also grew up very interesting as well. So I think when I hit like 12 or 13, my parents got on a real healthy wave. My parents started taking apple cider vinegar shots in the morning. My dad would take a spoonful of coconut oil because he said it was good for your joints. And then my mom would cook vegetables. Like we'd have collard greens, green beans, stuff like that. But then my parents got on a wave where during the week we would drink our vegetables. They got on the juicing wave. And so we had to have like a combo of like carrot, apple, celery, kale, parsley, cucumber, beets.
This is very outside of my frame of reference.
And they would juice our vegetables, and my dad would make us drink this terrible vegetable juice as our dinner, as our vegetable for our dinner. He's like, this is you're getting enough nutrients from the vegetables of like 3 days. My father also tried to get a pet goose at one time, so this is the type of house that I grew up in. But before that, like before they got on the wave, my dad cooked like a couple staple meals. So he's very regular. So my mom would cook. We always had Jiffy cornbread. Like we had Jiffy cornbread so much during the week with our dinners. And my dad put jelly and butter on his cornbread. So I grew up putting jelly and butter on my cornbread. But my dad would cook fried pork chops, white rice, and those little green peas in the silver can. Or he would cook this meal with white rice, some kind of vegetable, usually broccoli or those green peas, because he was obsessed with those green peas. And he would make this hamburger, but he would, like crumble it up in gravy with peppers and onions. And we eat that over white rice. And that was one of his meals, or spaghetti. Always. Those were the 3 meals that my father would make consistently, and Kool-Aid. Those were the 3 meals he made consistently before they got on the healthy wave.
Good times.
And cornbread. Always cornbread.
Good times. I think we should wrap up because we'll sit here all night.
I know. There's so many questions. Maybe we'll do a part 2.
Y'all let us know if you hate it, if you love it. I thought it was fun. And
it was kind of
take a stroll down memory lane and talk about how we grew up.
I know there's a lot we didn't touch on.
Yeah, and you guys let us know if there's something that we did not touch on that you would like us to touch on, or if there's a specific topic about growing up that we didn't hit. Let us know. Send us the email. An email. Y'all know the address, gettinggrownpodcast@gmail.com, or y'all can tweet us as always or as usual. Let's move on to the honesty box.
Honestly?
Truly. All right. Let's get to the honesty box.
Let's get it.
So it says, "Hey, Jade and Keia, Jade, as a mother and business owner, and Keia as a professional in the education field, how do you all deal with the respectability politics associated with your careers? I'm currently working on my master's degree in a teaching credential, team type and fast, and sometimes feel pressure to act a certain way or dress a certain way because of the respectability politics associated with my field. Since I'm 24 and look a lot younger than I actually am and plan to teach high school, people often question my competence and my ability to be respected by students. I really love both learning and teaching and feel like I can still do hood rat shit with my friends in private and still be a great teacher. Do you ladies ever experience this? If so, how do you deal with it? Thank you so much for answering. Monet, the ghetto English teacher. Sorry for the glitches. Damn iOS update. That's real.
That is real. I don't know if I have enough information to weigh in.
I know.
I have follow-up questions from Monet, the ghetto English teacher.
Well, ask him so she can write in and we'll do a part 2.
I just feel like respectability is one of those words that is thrown around like a lot.
Like triggered.
Yeah, right.
Whoa.
And I don't know. I feel like I need more context about the specific ways that you feel like you're feeling pressured and the settings where you feel this pressure. Because I do feel there are differences. You know what I'm saying? I think people are allowed to express their opinions and their preferences. But I think there are things that matter in terms of like, you know, power dynamics and protocol and policy and procedure. Environment. Those things kind of all, you know, they have their place when it comes to talking about feeling stifled and like you have to, you know, do things a certain way. I will say though, especially as an educator, as someone who works in education, I think sometimes we conflate. No one's saying that you should. I'm trying to choose my words very wisely here. No one's saying like because you said you want to do hood rat things with your friends. And that's pretty much all I have to go on since I don't really have much more context. My questions really are around like, you know, as a, you know, there's some, you have to be discreet. Like as an educator, there are things in place. If you're going to be responsible for people's children, you know, if you have to realize that as an educator, you're not just representing yourself, you're representing, you know, other people. And so, you know, I think that there are some things that we have to, that may not necessarily be about respectability or someone telling you that you can't be who you are. It's more about, you know, just being conscious,
being smart about
being
it.
conscious about when you do what you do. No one's
what you post,
right? How you post it. You know, we all work for people. Most of us, you know, and even entrepreneurs, it doesn't mean that you can just go out here and just do whatever you want, because you will have to be responsible to certain things and certain people at certain times. So I think, you know, it's hard to kind of deal with things when it comes to things like dress code and those like and certain policies about what we can and cannot post on social media. But the line is fine, but it's still, I'm leery or hesitant. I'm just saying, you know, don't let nobody tell you can't do X, Y, Z, because sometimes
you can't do
X, Y, Z, little sis. And I'm not even trying to be that way, like, because
don't smoke a blunt on your Snapchat. That's not,
you know what I'm saying? Like there's just certain things that you just probably shouldn't be doing. And I'm only saying this because you said hood rat things with your friends. And we all know that we all do hood rat things, but there's just certain things that we just can't do in the open. Yeah. And in terms of with respect to respectability, I think a lot of times you can't really change the game that you're not playing or that you don't know how to play. So I think a lot of us have to kind of work our way up within some of these existing systems and structures so that we can get to a place where we can have some power and influence and make things better for the people that are coming behind us. But that only comes with the time that we invest in, you know, having played the game by the rules that are established. And
Right.
I don't know if I'm making sense, but I'm just saying I need more. You have to give me, if you can write back, Monet, or reach out and let us know exactly
a little more
what you're
context.
talking about. Because when I hear this, you know, certain things kind of kick up for me. And one of those things was just like, I don't know. Like, yes, we love to do hood rat things with our friends, but we just have to be smart about it. And it may not be about respectability. It may just be about discretion.
Yeah, you can't. Then you end up being the next teacher, bae.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to be judgy. I hope that I'm not sounding judgy.
Oh, no.
But I'm just saying.
I don't mean that. I think she was a great looking woman, but all I'm saying is like, sometimes you just have to be a little more discreet about what you do.
That is, yeah. And because I mentioned that, because I read this email earlier and I was just thinking through it. And that was one of the stories that came to my mind immediately. So we could all have the conversation about Teacher Bay and whether or not it was appropriate for her to wear a bodycon in the classroom.
Or whether or not she was a teacher. I don't know. But, because I heard she's not.
Ooh.
But anyway. Yeah, I did. I hear she. But yes.
Elements.
We could have a discussion about whether or not it's appropriate to wear bodycon in the classroom. Not to be problematic. Don't think it is, but
I mean, I just feel like there's a time and a place for bodycon.
A time and a place.
There's
like,
so many places
you out,
you could wear your
with your
bodycon, girl. Get your life. But yeah,
you can have your whole crotch out if you want to. It's just not in the classroom.
Yeah, I mean, I just feel like I'm hesitant of just, yes, there are certain systems and structures and policies and things that need to be changed and questioned and critiqued because they are dated and they marginalize people and they're unfair, you know. So those things we need to change and address immediately. But I'm hesitant of just kind of generalizing about, you know, what things we want. Because what things we want to kind of fight for. Because when I read your email, my first gut was just like, maybe this is not about respectability. Because I think respectability is more about people feeling like they have to do and be like, they have to deny certain elements of themselves. And it's more about Black people putting, you know, other people of color putting those standards upon you. And
maybe that is what your issue is, but we just need more context.
That could be very well it, but it just, you know, it's also more about like, you know, there's a difference between like people's preferences and opinions about you and like what kind of power and actual power in they have over you.
Right. Like you can go out with your homegirls and maybe you work with somebody who doesn't think it's appropriate for you to post pictures, period, when you're out with your homegirls. That would be ridiculous. However, you could be out with your homegirls and then post yourself smoking a blunt on Snapchat and then somebody says something about like, you're a teacher, you're fired. That would be another thing. So it is about choices. It is about responsibility sometimes, and sometimes it's about thinking outside of ourselves. But again, let us know what you're talking about.
Yeah, girl.
So
just
we know
give us
specifically.
A little bit more meat. I think we read the question because we were intrigued by it, but
we want to know more.
I'm not entirely sure which way. I don't feel like I have enough information to say one way or another how I deal with it or if I deal with these kinds of things. Because people have lots of opinions because, you know, I'm Black. I'm the same.
It's 2000.
Yeah, and I'm the same Keia in every space.
So Monet, the ghetto English teacher, write us back. Let us know if you are dealing with maybe, what was old girl in Insecure's name who was loud in the attorney's office? But she was Rashida.
Oh, was that her name? She was loud in Molly's office, right?
Right, but you know, they were being a little judgmental. Let us know if you're dealing with maybe a situation like that, or if you were trying to smoke a blunt on your Snapchat.
Yeah, just give us a little bit more, and then I think we'll be able to get to the, you know, weigh in appropriately, I guess I should say.
Word.
Thanks for writing, though.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing back from you. Part 2 coming up, Getting Grown Honesty Box. Make sure you're sending your Honesty Box questions to gettinggrownpodcast@gmail.com. Somebody wrote in recently and said they had a hard time connecting with the email. So it is Getting Grown, GETTINGROWN podcast@gmail.com. So make sure you're sending us your honesty box questions, your petty peeves, if there's anything you want us to talk about at the kitchen table, and all that right there in between. Now let's move on to the petty peeves.
And I want to be very responsible of the things I say to my sister. Because everybody know I can be real petty. P-E to the T-T-Y, honey.
It's time for the petty peeves, and I am prepared with my petty. It is ready for takeoff. Here we go.
Let's go.
In the same spirit as the analogy that I just used, I, as someone who is 5'10" tall, I am over people who insist upon reclining their chairs. Like, it's like, I feel like there's a reasonable distance of recline, and then there's like, your head is in my lap. And I just feel like, I don't know, like maybe I'm being petty because sure, you pay for your ticket, you're entitled to let your seat back. But this is not a matter of me just being finicky, but this is literally my knees in your back. So we're both uncomfortable. Because there's no way that you don't feel my knees in your back because you recline your seat. And I know that you feel me moving. And I'm not moving to be, you know, to be a douche. I'm moving because I can't, like, I'm moving because I actually am bound. Like, because you have insisted upon reclining your chair.
Because my knees are on
This
your
is
back.
what I'm saying. So, I mean, I get it. You're entitled to let your seat back, but I feel like, why would you? I think you're being petty for insisting upon letting your seat back and the both of us being uncomfortable when you could just let your seat up a little bit so that I can move and you can enjoy, you know, a little being reclined a little bit over not being reclined at all.
I'm not 5'10", and I don't want niggas sitting in my lap.
I just think it's just like excessive. Like, girl, how much difference does it really make? How much difference does it really make for you to let the seat back?
You're still sleeping.
You're still sleeping in a chair.
For God's sake. Why don't you just grow up and get yourself a neck pillow?
Like, honestly, it just, when I was coming back from San Francisco, and that's a long flight, we're talking 4+ hours. The lady in front of me insisted upon letting her seat back. Like, when I tell you that she let her seat back, I mean, the chair had to be broken because I just felt like there's no way that it was okay for her to be sitting like this. I had my laptop on the tray table and I couldn't even use it. She reclined the seat back to the point where I couldn't even have my laptop up. And I'm looking around, the man sitting next to me, the flight attendant, everyone is just like, she could let the seat up. Like she could just let the seat up. Why would she? And I know that and I asked her, I tapped her, she played sleep like she didn't feel me. And I was like, all right, so I'm just about to, I literally put both my feet in her back all night. Like, I literally was just like, girl, what we going, listen, if this is how
I would have rocked
you
her
ready?
to sleep. Like
I got time.
I
got time.
No, I don't.
So that's my petty peeve.
Like that's not okay.
It's not okay. And I wanted to fight her. I was so angry. I had to get away from that woman so fast. I left my scarf on the plane because I was like, if I don't get up out this seat, I know that I'm getting ready to put my elbow down her throat. I'm taking all her teeth out. I'm telling you. I was angry. I was pissed.
Oh God.
Oh, I was so
my
mad.
petty peeve. I'm angry and I'm pissed. And you know who else is angry and pissed?
Who?
Everybody in America and Steve Jobs. Because my petty peeve this week is this iOS update.
Listen, let's just do it. Let me roll my sleeves up because I'm about to jump in.
Let me explain something to y'all niggas, okay? You charge $800 to $1,000 for
one phone.
To the point where you know niggas can't buy the phone outright. So you created all of these iPhone Forever plans all over on every single AT&T, Sprint, Verizon, and every other T-Mobile, whoever else the hell has the iPhone. And it's fine because at this point now it only makes sense for niggas to lease phones because y'all just gonna fuck the phones up anyway. So we have to get another one. So it makes sense for us to be on a lease with a phone, right? But what I cannot stand is the fact that I am typing the letter I.
It's the same letter I that has been used since the dawn of man. Am I mistaken? Did the letter change?
No. And it's always been the same rule. Use the capitalized I when you are referring to yourself. Okay. First of all, the fact that you all are even saying that now there's a shortcut for whatever this is. First of all, we don't even know what this is, so why is there a shortcut for it? What the fuck is an A with a question mark in a
terrible.
box?
It's absolutely.
What does that even mean?
It's honestly just. It's maddening.
What does it mean?
It is maddening.
Like, y'all are out here having us typing like Lil Uzi Vert, and I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm typing all of these things. So much money for my phone for it to not work properly. And y'all are just going to break the shit in another 6 months, so I have to get the new one.
I'm not out here. Let me tell you something. Y'all not going to have me out here getting this $1,000 iPhone 10 because of this iOS update and the glitches therein. Okay.
Just because a fox can laugh live on the damn phone. These phones cost too much money for the shit not to work. And Steve Jobs is A-Town stomping in his grave out of the frustration of the fact that you all are fucking up his company. And I'm tired of fighting Android users because I'm never going to have one. So get your shit right.
Somebody got to do something.
And shut up, Android users. What does that even mean? Y'all know we having a glitch right now.
First of all, y'all are glitches.
That's another petty peeve.
The whole thing
Android
is
is number one big ass glitch.
Okay.
Android
this
means
is the
glitch.
first time there's been like a major nationwide issue concerning Apple users. So let us have this, okay? Y'all been doing
like
y'all should be used to glitches. We've been watching y'all audio not match up with the video for years. So don't do this.
Your phones were blowing up on airplanes, so I don't want to hear nothing. Don't do it. Don't do it, because the nigga gets real ugly when I have to go to battle.
Green bubbles.
Anyway.
Struggle. That concludes another episode of Getting Grown with Jade and Keia. We appreciate you all for listening and taking the time to indulge our foolishness as a part of your Tuesdays. Appreciate everybody who lets us know that you're listening, all the tweets, all the comments, all the Facebook messages and comments that we receive. We really appreciate it. We thank you guys so much. We love you, love you, love you. I guess we can start saying, shout out to the Friend Zone Live DC. Yeah. December 1st, the Friend Zone will be in Washington, D.C. for another live show. Jade and myself will be your faithful host. Isn't that crazy? So yeah, y'all head out and buy your tickets if you haven't already done so, and come and see us in DC. It'll be a good time.
That's going to be a good time.
Indeed.
I think that's it. You have any announcements?
I don't have any announcements, but I will hopefully have an announcement next week. So stay tuned.
Okay. All right, y'all. We'll see you next week. In the meantime, drink your water.
Mind your business.
Mind your business and use your Neutrogena sesame oil because mixed with your almond oil because your black will crack if it's dry.
It sure will. Ask Stacey Dash. Bye.
Bye.